Good morning once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. I'm Larry Kallevig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group, celebrating almost 11 years, serving people in all the retirement areas. And I say all the retirement areas, meaning all the puzzle pieces. You know, we're in tax season right now, and Lance, our CPA, anything to do with insurance, Medicare, healthcare, long-term care, life insurance reviews. You should get them reviewed annually, really. Wealth management is why Kyle Thomas is with us, one of several certified financial planners on the Haven team. All of those pieces, ask yourself, do you have all the retirement puzzle pieces? Do you have them going to the same puzzle? Are you missing some of the pieces? And do you have a good partner that can help you in these areas? Before we jump into this segment, Kim, as a proud father of 4 daughters, I have to give a shout out to our oldest daughter, Paris, who we just got back from North Carolina, where she had her white coat ceremony in North Carolina in Asheville, and physician's assistant white coat ceremony. So she's going to be beginning her medical career. So we're very, very proud of her. And the other daughters, of course. I'm not leaving them out, but it's a proud father moment.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to you and your lovely wife, and of course to your daughter Paris. That's the beginning of a lot of exciting times for her, that's for sure.
Thank you.
We're talking about geopolitical issues and how they're impacting our economy, thus impacting your retirement. We want to talk about budget strategies to address inflation. Now, we've been talking about the fact that if you're looking for a partner, the folks at Haven Financial Group, they're the perfect group to sit down with you to walk through an existing portfolio or put together a new one, and they really take pride in the idea that they put these portfolios together and they prepare for inflation. They prepare for just these times, these volatile times. You may not find that in every single partner that you take on. So that's something to keep in mind. Budgeting, though, I know that we've talked about stress testing. I know that we've talked about preparing for inflation, but that also sometimes means that when it hits like now, you have to sit down and sort of reevaluate where you stand. That might mean your budget shifts a bit. Talk a little bit, Kyle, about shifting budgets during inflationary times.
Yeah, one of the biggest questions we get for people who aren't yet retired or want to retire is can I retire? And, anyone really can retire. It's just a matter of how much you're going to spend. So spending is one of the main drivers of your success in retirement. And what we would want as a goal for everyone is to not have to really change your lifestyle from when you were working to when you go into retirement, and to not have to, once you're in retirement, to not have to change your lifestyle based on what's happening in the outside world, like inflation or, geopolitical stuff. So we want you to be able to have a consistent lifestyle regardless of what life looks like. And the best way to do that is to make sure that you do have some sort of budgeting system, and to know that, what everything looks like for you personally. And then we can apply a general inflation number for that spending number for the rest of your life, like we were saying with that stress testing. Mm-hmm. But one of the best ways that I've found for people to create a budget for themselves is first take a look and see what you have been spending. Try to have one account, like a checking or savings account, that just has everything funneled through it. So you can pay for bills through it if you'd like, pay off your credit cards if you use credit cards, pay off that credit card through that checking or savings account. Just have everything flowing through there. And then what you should do is just add up, monthly statements, look at the last 6 months, look at the last year, and just kind of see what that average amount that you're spending is on a monthly basis. And that's a pretty good indicator to say, here's what we would probably want going forward. Mm-hmm. So make sure that we have something like that, but then we want to make sure that it is in line, with that stress testing, make sure that it's in line with what's sustainable for us. But that would be definitely a good first step. And it's a good idea for you to know how much you actually are spending too, just so you're aware of it.
Well, let's say you're starting you know, your budget plans, and I understand what you're saying, watch as it funnels through, but you're somebody who wants to sort of put a budget down because you're about to step away from your job. You want to put a budget down on paper. What are the most expensive areas that you need to anticipate, and how do you get started on that budget?
Some of the most expensive ones typically are housing, right?
Mhm.
Either rent or mortgage, and then transportation as well. So if you
Mhm.
have a car loan, um, uh, or if you're taking city transportation, all of that stuff adds up. But then also food. So we're kind of thinking of like the essential things here.
Mhm.
So housing, transportation, and food. Those are the most expensive
I would
things.
think healthcare would go in there too. Yes.
Yeah, healthcare, absolutely. That would be another one.
Yeah.
Um, and so uh, we want to make sure that those ones are just kind of fixed on there, and those are at the top of our sheet when we're figuring out our budget, and we have those values locked in, and then we can kind of figure out our more discretionary things beyond those fixed core essential needs. And based on what's happening with inflation, maybe those discretionary numbers are a little lower than we would want them to be, and maybe they could increase later on when things settle down a little more. But we want to make sure that we take care of our essentials to make sure that our lifestyle we can be living and have a place of shelter and be able to eat and get around places.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, I would agree with you. Healthcare is one of the biggest underestimated expenses for those that we work with as they get into retirement. And we're looking at retirement and we're talking about, well, $1,000 a month for healthcare each or something. They're like, that much? So people really underestimate that. And then the potential need for long-term care later on in life. Those two get overlooked, and they are big numbers, but we need to plan for them. And and when you're younger, earning more greater income always can relieve some financial worries. But for many of our clients and those that we sit down with, those earning years are behind them; they're not ahead of them. So that isn't always easy to do. So establishing a budget is an essential way for understanding what you're spending it on and how to manage those expenses. And accountability. You may sit down and go, oh my gosh, I'm spent $500 at Starbucks last month. That's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. And you start forgetting how quickly these numbers add up. So extremely important. No, a budget is not fun. No, somebody might have fun doing it. I don't like it, but a lot of people don't like it. And they preach the budgeting to the younger people, establishing an emergency fund. The same application should be done for most people in retirement. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we do come across those that have done a great job. They've worked hard, they've saved, and they'll say, my wife and I, we have never put a budget together. We're really lax in that area, but they've succeeded in preparing for retirement. A higher percentage, though, probably doesn't fall into that class. So, again, whether young or old, and you're listening, just figuring out where am I spending the money and some accountability, and you might be surprised.
Yeah. So would you say, just first off, not putting together a budget, and secondly, underestimating the costs of so many things are the two biggest mistakes that people make when they're putting budgets together?
Yeah. Well, first of all, when we ask, because when we take people through our process, part of the first process is discovery meeting. And whether you have a lot or a little, young or old, our process is the same, a proprietary process. Okay, what are your goals and objectives? What are you looking to accomplish? We're going to ask all kinds of questions and take notes and listen, which is important. Oftentimes where people go, nobody has ever even asked me that question before. And by doing that, we're also going to say, well, what are your expenses? And I've said it before, oftentimes people throw out a number, oh, it's $4,000 a month. And based on our conversation, it's like, wow, that seems really, really, really light. How about before our next meeting, maybe in your downtime, you put pen to paper as a couple and you just kind of get a more accurate, yeah, that sounds good. And they'll come in and that number has actually doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little bit low on that last time. So again, that's where it's, good numbers going into the equation gives us better accuracy as far as projections go. So again, underestimate. We're going to overestimate expenses for retirement. Actually, we're going to buffer in, and Kyle does this, and anything else category for those things that you want to do, like travel and entertainment. And Kyle said it well. You got to have income for the things first that you need. Transportation and a house over your head and health care. And then you got to have a budget for those things that you want. Now, if things get a little tight, you may have to cut some of those things maybe you want that you don't need, but necessities come first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 612-504-8400. It may not sound like fun, but boy, putting together a budget can make a big difference in the stability of your retirement. And as Larry stated earlier in this show, everybody wants a retirement that's stable. 612-504-8400. That's how you reach the folks at Haven Financial Group. Give them a call. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about structuring your finances to weather these turbulent markets. This is the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.